All right, so welcome to the first session of Discussion Forums Let's Talk with me, Ariana, also known as Anamika. And today's topic, 2022, the first session, today's topic is how do we ensure that our New Year resolutions are a success, right? So my first question as we begin talking about this topic today is, what is your opinion about New Year resolutions?
Generally, when we do New Year resolutions, like we consider some goals that we are planning to accomplish within a year or by the end of the year. So, like these are the resolution that we generally take.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So, Anamika, resolution itself. This word always amazed me in terms of as they say, you shouldn't commit anything. You shouldn't commit anything unless until you should not make any commitments unless you can't keep it. Okay, so resolution for me, every year on year, I decide to take few resolutions, but then the initial few days, and then I end up going back to square one. So this year, my new resolution is like to deconstruct myself, and in the sense like whatever clutter I have accumulated over the last many years, to declutter, and then get into the concept of taking a resolution. And why only New Year? I mean, I somehow this question always it keeps hitting me time and again, that why do we have to wait for Jan 1st to come for a resolution? It could be every day. You can pick up one resolution and keep it up. Okay, so that's my take. So no more new resolution. The only resolution that I again the word. So it's like a subset of it's like a subset. So you better deconstruct myself, Seshasai, and then once I'm prepared as an individual, irrespective of age, irrespective of wisdom and knowledge, irrespective of immaturity or maturity, whatever it is, but then deconstruct yourself and then decide that yes, whether I should take a plunge in, take a resolution or not. And if I do, am I capable of keeping it or not? So that's about it. It's like from X to Y by when. Yeah. So that reminds me of this book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution.
Yeah.
So if I can't execute, then there's no point.
No discipline. So absolutely. Yeah. Well said. I think to your point where why only New Year, I think it has a psychological element to it in my mind, right? We as human beings, if you observe, even as children, we always have been trained or have been brought up with a starting point and an ending point, always, right? And somehow even numbers or even days or a certain day or a certain time period makes a lot of sense to us. So it's not just like 1st of January, Mondays, for example, are overhyped, I feel, that people wait that I'll start something on a Monday because the start of the week apparently is going to be a Monday, or I'll start something in the morning, not in the evening. So the time of the day also, kind of has a significance for some people. I will start something with this thought process. That also sometimes has a significance for people. So I think it is more about a psychological manifestation on how we have been trained, how we have been influenced. So to each their own. In fact, Sumit and I were having this chat yesterday, and we asked the same question that, why only New Year? It can be 2nd of Feb, it can be 5th of Feb, right? So to each their own, I believe, and rightly said, it should be every day. So when I think of resolution, I believe resolution, the word resolve itself is an intent, right? It's about an intent. And an intention is of no use if I don't apply it, if I don't execute it. So one of the biggest reasons why New Year resolutions fail is because we intend, but we don't apply. We plan, but we don't execute. So we don't do anything about it. We just feel great about this. Hey, I'm going to do this because it's kind of a trend now that you create a New Year resolution and blah, blah, blah. But we don't convert it into a goal. We don't convert it into a well-executed plan. We don't do that. And that's what we will explore more today in the session. Okay. So my second question is, What techniques have you used in the past that have helped you keep up to your resolutions, whether it's a New Year resolution or anything else?
So Anna, I just set up some goals, then I divided that goals and tracked them for the resolution. That helped me to get to my goal and reach the target.
Great. So set some goals, break them down and track them. That's been your technique, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sai?
Well, as I said, I never kept in resolution, but yes, what helped me is like, I've been trying to reduce my cigarettes. Okay, so to keep a scoreboard and have an accountability partner. Now I'll use the 7 habits thing.
Yes.
So if you have somebody who can support you, it could be anyone, irrespective of gender or age for that matter. So because first of all, as far as I'm concerned as an individual, I find it very, very difficult to as far as the smoking in this context. So keeping a scoreboard and then keeping a tally, keeping a track of that on a daily basis, because even if I default, at least the other person is there, boss, buddy. I mean, this is where I guess you've gone a little astray. So mind it. So I think an accountability partner is very, very critical. It could be anyone, because once see, accountability partner can give you support to a certain extent, but beyond that, once you're on the track, then I think it's all you're all on your own.
Yeah.
And this did help me to a large extent.
Great. Well said. So to me, I feel that when I'm talking about anything that I want to achieve, any goal that I want to achieve, what's important for me, and let's talk about this in the context of New Year resolutions itself. I think to begin with, it's very important to review your past year, to review your past journey. What has it been like? What has worked? What has not worked? Write down your success stories, celebrate them, as small as they may be, right? And also identify the challenges that you have faced, identify the barriers that you have come across in achieving those goals. That, I believe, is going to start helping you at a mindset level, that you will be able to not only understand, because sometimes what happens is, if I am unable to live up to a particular goal or a particular resolution year after year after year, my self motivation is going to go down. That, oh, nothing is happening, I'm not just going to do this well anyways, so why even try, right? But when I sit down and I write down what has worked and what has not worked, and what are the small successes that I did achieve, and what did I do differently to achieve those success stories or to achieve those steps or the milestones, and that, when I apply again this year, but apply it with more consistency. So what didn't work probably was consistency. For me, example is exercise, right? I'm not a very exercise person. I like to be active in general, but going to a gym or being very regular with exercise takes a time, takes a lot of effort from me, right? So for that, what I have observed in my past years is consistency is the only problem. Intent is great, planning is great, I just don't stick to it. I'm not consistent. So when I plan again this year, or on any week or any day, then my focus is going to be more in terms of consistency and not in terms of planning. So I'll know where to put my energies more. And like you rightly said, the accountability partner, what to tell them to watch out for. That am I good at planning, or am I good at consistency? Where should I need their help? Giving them that input also is very essential. Thoughts? I'll pause here.
As individuals, we often focus on the lag measures, okay, but we really don't really we somehow tend to lose track of the lead measures, which are very important. Because if you keep it's like a trim tab. If you keep focusing on the lead measures, obviously the lag measure is going to move. But then more than often, 99.9% of the people, we tend to focus only on the output, without even giving it a conscious and unconscious thought that yes, are we really working on those few actions which would eventually enable us to move towards the lag measure? We tend to ignore that. So I think this year, yes, you've actually triggered my thought process that my only resolution is going to be that, okay, whatever I've decided, irrespective of that could be anything, be myself, or remove all the so-called masks that I have been putting on so far, that I've been donning so far. Remove all of them, and then be the way I am. And of course, most importantly, I guess, that brings to a very important point. the courage quotient to speak whenever it's required. Okay, and even if it may have a negative repercussion, but then am I courageous enough to speak what I wish to speak at the right time to the right person, professionally and personally, which often, there's always a conflict between mind and intellect. Okay, so when whatever comes to your heart first, that often, more than often, it's correct, but then our mind, since it's wavering all the time, and it's like घोड़े की लगाम होती है ना, तो वो लगाम, I want to keep it in my hand rather than letting the horse let loose, and then okay, you can actually go gallivanting wherever you feel like. So expressing the expression of courage at the right time, at the right kind of message that I wish to convey. I think that is something which I would like to work really very hard upon, and looking for accountability partner for that matter, because accountability partner is a must under any circumstances. No matter how much we think about ourselves, we may think very high about ourselves, but then more than often it falls flat. So yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely. Anupama.
So Anna, whatever is covered already, Sai, and you had covered most of the points, that courage is required, then review is required, because all these give us that insight that how we can move further in our journey. Because if we will not review the past, probably we will not able to rectify the future act, and we'll continue doing the same thing again and again, right? So that is one thing. Second thing, somehow, I want to generally, when we set up our resolution, we set up with that thing, I am not going to this, for example, Sai mentioned, I am going to quit smoking, or instead of people say I will not smoke, for example. So we start with a negative sentence, we say in gratitude and all. So instead of saying that, probably the you explained me for the fitness, that I should say that I would be healthy, I will move toward the healthy life. So probably then we'll start realizing that at least we are moving some step ahead. Because if we will keep on thinking, okay, I will leave the smoking completely, or I would be the best version of me in fitness, then probably I will always see the failure, that I'm not moving towards my goal. But if I'll see it, okay, I'm becoming healthy every day, my flexibility is increasing, I am enjoying whatever I'm doing, then probably I will start feeling better or good about my goals, and then my journey would be smooth.
Beautiful thought.
I completely agree with you, Anupama. What you said. I think it's because when you talk about affirmations should always be positive. Okay, so yeah, so you give me a wonderful starting point, that yes, I am going to quit smoking. Rather than saying that, I should have said that yes, I've already done that, and I rather let me imagine myself that yes, Ishisa getting up in the morning and doesn't require a cigarette anymore, or before dozing, or I'm not smoking at all. Fantastic. Thanks for bringing that up. Beautiful point.
Beautiful. That also brings me to two more points. Okay, one is from a positivity perspective, and at the same time adding in the small step, the importance of small steps. Anupama, if you remember when we started talking first, your goals were like, oh my God, she had like 10-20 goals, and she was so gaga about it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And she was, raring about every particular piece of it. And I asked her, stop, slow down. You don't need to achieve so many goals in a year. Be kind to yourself. You don't have to go through this, right? So my funda has been small is big, slow is fast, right? And the slower we are, the smaller baggage we carry, the smaller load on our head about goals we carry, the farther we are going to reach, right? So the first thing is to not keep more than 3 for a year. Not more than 3 for a year, right? Second is to ensure that we are taking small steps. So for example, Sai, for you, if we are talking about smoking, instead of saying, and bringing in the positive element as well, right? So instead of saying, I'm going to quit smoking, or instead of saying, I will never smoke, you can say, I am glad that I am now smoking 20% less than what I usually do. Yeah. So it can be, so instead of maybe 10 cigarettes a day, I'm smoking 5 cigarettes a day or 8 cigarettes a day. So whatever, the number that you want to give it, but small steps and still looking at a positive side of it, I believe is going to really help. At least that has helped me with my exercise regime. I am very conscious. I'm not going to get stressed about, oh my God, I didn't do exercise today, or I didn't do this today. So I wait from two aspects. One is, have I remained active through the day or not? Right. Two, have I had any intake of junk food or any intake of food that is not healthy for me? That's my second question. And third question is, did I do what was necessary for me to do for the day? That's it. And so it's not about, oh, I have to do 1 hour, 2 hours of rigorous exercise. And then, like Rujuta Divekar says very beautifully, she says that think about 5 minutes a day. Instead of doing 50 minutes and doing it only for a week, do 5 minutes and do it for 50 days.
Consistent.
Going to add consistency, that's going to make a difference really, and not that 50 minutes a day. So exercise need not be about sweating it out. Exercise is about feeling good internally when you do it, right? And that's something that I'm following. That's something that's working for me.
Right. I did the same because last year I was too much into cardio. I was exhausting my whole energy within an hour. I was like, I have to shed all the weight in 1 month or 2 months, like I did earlier. But then I give that thing to my past mistakes. I review my mistake. Then whenever I'm trying to do it fast, it's not coming in my regular thing. And every time I tend to get it back. So it's better to follow something that will live with me forever. So I started with yoga now. I'm doing 45 minutes yoga with a trainer only for now, but still I because I feel energetic throughout the day. Instead of flushing all my energy in the morning itself and feeling tired and sleepy, it's better to be energetic throughout the day. Probably you would be able to shed more calories in a day when
Absolutely.
you would be working on other things instead of sitting on a chair for a whole day. So yeah, that helped me. So
beautiful. Another thing that I have always said is that sometimes not making any progress is also progress, as long as you're not going back in the negative tone. So even if you are standing there, that's progress to me.
Absolutely. That's true. I mean, that in itself is a progress, because you're not getting, you're not actually getting into the backward spiral.
Yeah.
The graph is consistent. Okay, so you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be really a crest all the time. Okay, neither does a drop. So if it's constant, fantastic. I mean, that in itself is a progress.
Absolutely.
And I think to a large extent it does work, by the way. I think Anamika, that's a very critical point that you brought up. Sometimes not making a progress is definitely, yes, it's especially in the corporate world, it's actually looked down upon. But I think people and leaders should are supposed to bring in a paradigm shift here, that okay, if your performance has not gone up, it's not either, it's not even gone down. So fair enough, maintain this, and probably, yes, from there you take off rather than going down. Yeah, I think this would be more helpful for people who find it, who struggle to get onto an upward track.
Yeah.
I think for them it's good. I mean, it's like a self consolation कि यार ठीक है, अगर ऊपर नहीं जा तो कम से नीचे भी तो नहीं जा रहा हूँ, ग्राफ तो वहीं पर तो है.
Absolutely. Like I believe that stability is not equal to stagnation. There's a lot of difference between these two. They may look alike. You're on mute, Sai, you're on mute.
Certainly, yes. Stability may or may not be equal to stagnation all the time.
Yeah.
It depends on the context. Absolutely. I do agree.
Yeah. So I think stability is good. Stagnation is not good. So I don't want to, as long as, for example, as long as I'm in the same place, but I'm still learning. I may not be progressing physically. I may not be moving to the next level. I mean, irrespective whether it is at work, in personal life, or wherever. But if I am at peace, and if I am at a good, mental health, if I am at a good physical health, if I'm in a good state of mind, that is stability. That's not stagnation.
Yeah. And progress in in itself it doesn't depend on what others think about us. I think it's purely it's again inside out approach. So it's completely, it depends on our mindset, individual definition of progress. I mean, not going by the dictionary meaning, but then progress for me could be something else. Progress for Anupama could be something else. Progress for you, it's completely individual specific. Okay, now that, so progress for me, stability could be a progress. It may not be a growth per se, but it shouldn't be a degrowth per se. Okay, so so I think so that is the the underlying the ulterior motive of what progress is all about. Yeah.
Well said. Anupama, you were saying something.
No, I was saying Sai is right. Like everybody has a different definition of success, and like now, like I follow it like what we discussed, that I should compare it with my version every day. Like what was how I was doing it yesterday, and how I'm doing today, and that gives me a lot of insight, and probably I can see the difference that how I am improving myself. Because when I, like again the same thing, if I compare with some end person like who is like excellent in something, I would not be able to achieve that. I will always see myself again as a failure. So, but when I am comparing myself with myself, then I can see that success graph every day, and that keeps me motivated.
Absolutely, yeah. So intrinsic motivation again, I should be my only competition, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So a couple of things that I thought I had noted down about how do I plan about putting a resolution together. So the first for me is to review the past year, write down and list down what are the things that worked for me, what are the things that did not work for me. And when I'm doing this review, not just in my next year planning, not just bring up things that the mistakes that I made and learn from them, but very importantly, Sai, like you said, the lead measures, to talk about what are those successes, what did I achieve, and how did I achieve that? What did I do differently that I achieved that? And can I apply it again? And can I apply it on a regular basis so that that success becomes more consistent? So I'm able to repeat the success more often. And I think that's a very underplayed aspect in every area of life. I have observed people only talk about learning from mistakes, but we don't talk about learning from successes and repeating those success stories. So those are some very keys that I feel from a mindset perspective I want to do before I start planning. Any additions that you have to that from a mindset?
One thing came just now, like sometimes resolution could be like at the end of the year we are passing through something and it came as a resolution, and we don't know that it's right or wrong for us, and it's aligned with our real goals, or like it will go with us for in our journey far or no. So in that case, how can you identify that it's real or it's just vision, just a temporary one that will go, and anyways you would not be able to keep it for long? So like probably if we can filter out that in initial phase itself, then we would not spend time on something that at least we don't need at all.
So review relevance, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Is it relevant to me or not?
Right.
I think I like something, again, because I've been following Rujita Divekar. I not only like her health guidance, but I also like the little snippets of knowledge that she shares. So something that she says very beautifully, she says, never do anything that you're not sure of being able to sustain after 5 years.
Yeah, right.
Don't get into a life that you do not think you can sustain after 5 years. And that's the biggest problem I think we have right now, most of us, where we are trying to live another's life. We are trying to ape somebody, or ape a way of living, ape a way of eating, ape a way of exercising, ape a way of success. We are always trying to copy somebody or something, and finding that for our own self of what is more sustainable for me. For example, coming back to health and all that, I am not a junk eater at all. I hate junk. I just don't like. I don't like eating food outside. I don't like any spicy food. I don't like oily food. I don't like junk food. No pizzas, no burgers. I just don't enjoy it. Not because they're unhealthy. I just generally don't enjoy that. I don't drink fizz. I don't do any of those, right? But at the same time, I know what will not work for me is giving up on sweets. And so I'm not going to kill myself just because I want to lose weight per se, body weight or fat per se. I'm not going to starve myself of something that the only thing that I love eating is sweets. So I'm going to continue eating that, but in moderation. right? And I think that is very important to assess what is going to work for you. What is that you will be able to sustain for a longer period of time, right? Okay. Now, from like we said, I think it is also important when we start talking about the plan of how do we want to put together the resolution. Small steps, setting a goal, start date, end date, common things that we want to do, relevance, whether it's going to work for me or not, realisticness, whether it's a realistic goal or not, or am I number of goals are realistic or not, and the achievability of the goal is realistic or not. From both perspective, I think it's important. And what I believe, from a more human perspective, what I believe is that a goal should, at the end of the day, make me feel good about myself, and not make me demean where I am currently. It should not make me hate myself. Oh my God, I'm good at nothing. Oh my God, look where I am. I'm not even able to achieve this. So it should never make me question my current state. It should only motivate me to do better, to reach some other place, or to get better version of myself. Because if I feel, if at all I am not motivated internally, if I'm not feeling good about it, I may well achieve the goal, but one, I'll not be able to retain it, and two, I will create another new problem in myself. Either it's going to be self-insecurity, or it's going to be self-doubt, something that is not more visible, something at a more psychological and a more mental health level I'm going to create, even if I achieve that goal. Thoughts?
No, I completely agree with you, Anna, on that. Like, if we will love our goals that can be sustainable, so we will automatically get to achieve them. Like, we'll do whatever possible we can do to achieve them. But somewhere, if 10% also we are not aligned to them, then that journey will be slow, because that will keep us pulling us back towards that, because that always that 10% will come and make our speed slower. And
again, but slow in comparison to what?
Slow means it will be a road blocker. That 10% will be a road blocker for you, like because if you are going on a constant speed, and then there are road blockers, then it impacts your journey, right? So that would be there.
Got that. Roadblocks, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, so Anupama and Anamika, I was just wondering, like, the word, resolution. If you look at the etymology of the word resolution, so it's like RE, and then the solution. We often, why resolutions fail is like we often tend to apply the same solutions repeatedly again and again, and again, and that's why we fail. Okay, so. And this just it just crossed my mind. I was just I was listening to you. So number one is tangibility. So number two is intrinsic motivation. That's fine. But then even if you further deep, if you go a little more granular, I think this is where lies the solution. Because if three of us, if we've identified a problem, okay, and if we all three of us come with the same solution, one may succeed, the other two may fail, okay, and there could be multiple permutations and combinations. But it's like a rat race. Okay, so now this is a problem. If it's worked for Anamika, it might as well work for me. So let me apply the solution, which is not going to happen. But whether I'm intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated doesn't matter. Okay, so I think the word resolution itself requires a deep level of contemplation for by all of us. Okay, yeah, and solution. So are we going to? So let's because the prefix RE, that is where lies the entire, that's where lies the crux of the story, basically. That's where lies the essence of the whole discussion. So are we trying to repeat? Is it going to be a repetitive solution? Is it going to be, or we're trying to in between insert another word called different solution? Okay, now, of course, it's not a word. I'm not trying to coin a new word, but then yes, is the solution that we're looking at. Now, for instance, cigarette smoking, But just by thinking कि नहीं यार मैं नहीं पीऊंगा चलो ठीक है, I mean that's a negative statement as
जरूर
Anamika said.
पियोगे. When you will say नहीं नहीं
Exactly.
नहीं, then
Exactly. I was coming to
because
that.
you are always thinking about it.
Yeah. So I was coming to that, Anupama. So
Okay.
मैं आज शुरू में मैं 10 पीता था, अब मैं 5 पीऊंगा. So that's a kind of positive affirmation, because I'm trying to quantify the whole. But then, is this going to work me? Is what is this going to work? Is this thought or action is going to work in my favor? May or may not be.
May not. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the it's the same resolution. Because solution क्या है? Either आप छोड़ दो, or if you want to lose weight, I want to shed around 5 kgs in the next 2 months. Now, if I keep thinking that okay, I'll go to gym, I'll go for my morning jogs and evening jogs, but that's the same RE is still repeating. Okay, so is this the question that fundamentally each one of us should ask ourselves? Is yes, is this the way? Is this the way forward for me? Okay,
Yes.
this may have worked for Anupama, this may have worked for Anamika, but Sai, is this going to work for you or not? Is the question. And if I get a different solution for this, I think then the resolution itself will, it'll actually lose its. I mean, we don't have to even use the word resolution.
Absolutely.
Okay? The will, actually that will get eliminated. The only thing which will remain is the solution. That's about it.
Absolutely.
So why resolution?
Yeah, no, adding another element to it, I think not only about what has worked for someone else and will it work for me or not, but also what worked for me last year may not work for me this year. And even when I begin, let's say I decide that this is my path for this year, and I apply that for 2-3 months and I see it's not working, it's time to figure out why is it not working and maybe change course, do something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very beautifully said.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Some things that I have seen has worked for me in, reaching my other goals, one of which is Love, Live, Learn, one of which is writing a book or publishing a book earlier, whatever I have done, opening my own NGO. So a couple of things that worked for me when I achieved these goals, that helped me achieve these goals is, one is small steps consistently, every single day or every single week, depending on what I'm doing. Not every goal may have a relevance to be done every day. Some goals should be probably looked at and measured at a weekly level and not a daily level, or maybe a monthly level and not a weekly level. So it depends. Second is, I try to do these things almost at the same time and at the same place. That has helped me a lot in training my brain. So for example, these sessions or my counseling sessions or my recordings, my video recordings, podcasts, whatever I do it in this space. This is my study room. This is where I do it every time. And the only time I use is my Saturdays and Sundays, and specific times during Saturdays and Sundays also when I do it. Right. So the moment that time kind of hits now, after 2.5 years or 3 years now, the moment that time hits, my brain already starts pulling me to this room and saying that, okay, do something about it. It's your time to, do something contributing to Love, Live, Learn, or do something contributing to making a difference. And I think that has worked brilliantly for me in training my brain to consistently contribute towards my goal and not just once in a while. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, agree with you, because these are the important. That's what we are discussing. Actually, going slow, consistent. So all these are very important to achieve any goal. Because as we discussed initially, like if we are in that hurry, then or we are very fast, then we tend to lose that energy. Probably in the middle of your journey. And instead of that, if we'll keep the same energy throughout, then we would have more chances to win.
Beautiful. Sai?
I think, Anamika, that's a wonderful thing. Consistency, if you can make consistency a habit, there's nothing that, we as individuals can't achieve. Okay. So I think consistency habit, and consistency can become a habit only if you get into some kind of a disciplinary mode. Okay. So it's like we don't have to really think of taking a giant leap at one go. If we focus on the delta, even if there's a small needle movement, could be minuscule for others, but then for us, that one, a 0.0001% of the needle movement can have a huge impact. And if that becomes a discipline, obviously consistency will get ingrained and it will become a habit. So as they say that habit is like you remove H, a bit remains, you remove A, a bit remains, you remove B, it still remains. Okay. So old habits are, like hardwired. But then yes, consistency as a habit, if this becomes a habit, there's nothing like it. I think rest all habits will, no, not consistency in smoking and all. Of course, I'm not talking about the negative one. Yeah. Yeah. But then yes, but yeah.
Effective habits.
Yeah. So effective habits. So consistency is the name of the game. And if you're able to make it as a habit, there's nothing like it. I think that's the underlying, the message that yeah. If I have to really come up with a very crisp and succinct, my statement.
Absolutely. Another thing that has worked for me is writing. And I do believe that writing and keeping a track, not just keeping a track verbally or mentally in your head, but writing down about your progress, either on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, does ensure that not just your discipline, not just your actions, but also your mindset and your motivation is consistent. So you are looking at what you have achieved right in front of you. I've seen a lot of people who track their exercise progresses, for example, are able to achieve it far more than people who just do it. Because they have some element of tracking system in front of them, something to see. For example, going back to the types of learners, the visual learners, I can actually see what I'm doing. And so I am able to, continuously, consistently move forward. So that I feel, to me, at least, writing has really helped. That what did I do this week? What could I not do? This is something that I should do probably next week. That weekly progress tracker in a written format has worked brilliantly for me. What about you guys?
Anna, this is the one area where I'm struggling. So like I am able to visualize everything, but I'm not able. I have all the diaries in front of me, my gratitude diary, that time management diary, that planner, everything. But I still need to get in. Probably this should be my this year goal, that I should start writing. It does not take time somehow, but I don't know why, but I am not able to write. So that is one thing I'm lacking currently. You are insisting me every time to write. I had not even written my intentional gratitude. I have that in my mind. It's very clear, but somehow I'm not able to write. So that is one thing that probably I need to take out now of my working style, and because
sure. I also think, Anupama, I think, see, it's not about forcing yourself to do something, right? I have also seen a lot of people who don't enjoy writing at all. They don't like writing at all. They are more about speaking. They are more about internally, in their mind, and they're not very comfortable writing it down, which I think is okay. I do bring out writing again and again because it is a proven fact of.
It helps, Anamika. It helps. Actually, once you will start writing, you will have a clear visibility on what you are thinking, because sometimes your thought process is not aligned with what you are doing, because of multiple reasons. But when you start writing, then you have everything black and white. So that can't be changed. So you can play with your thought process, but not with what is written on the paper.
There, right? Yeah.
So that's why it's very, very important. But yeah, somehow that is one thing that I need to get into, and I know that will help me multiple folds. So that's why I ordered all the diaries. All the diaries are on my table every day. I ordered my favorite pens also, just to keep myself motivated. Everything is there. The only thing is that I need to start. Probably I will start today.
Great. Sai, what are your thoughts on writing?
Okay, so writing, because I can't even. I hate writing.
There you go. We have one example right there.
No. So writing for me, it's like, okay, it's a pen and paper. My handwriting used to be very good once upon a time, but then yes, now off late, it's gone off the track. I can't even understand my own writing. But if you ask me about writing per se, to me, writing is something that it's a mirror reflection of your personality.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can type, and you don't have to share your writings with anyone else.
Yes.
Now I'm not talking about authors and all. So it's just, Anupama, as you said, because you speak so very well, your thoughts are so, you're such a sorted lady. I mean, okay, you have the thoughts. It's just the, matter of typing the first word. You might actually, in fact, I also struggle. It's just a matter of, okay, now how should I, if there's a sentence, okay, now how do I, if Seshasai is Seshasai now, and if I want to see myself on a paper, some people expressive, they speak very well verbally, but then for those, I mean, it actually applies for both. Somebody who's who's good at verbal communication, somebody who's good at non-verbal communication. But writing is something which is intrinsic, which is just yours. Nobody can snatch away from you. Okay, and that's where, because thoughts are there. It's like water. You boil it, they evaporate. But when you think something at at this very moment, and if you type it down, or maybe nowadays, why can't we use technology? I mean, just open your mobile and then start making, taking notes. You're walking and you come across a lovely, I mean, there's not even a single soul on the road, but then the birds are chirping. You can see the leaves issue, but yeah, I mean, nature, anything. I mean, it could be anything. You don't have to be specific. Sometimes it could be even random thoughts, and those thoughts may or may not necessarily make any sense. But you've written out of, you've just jotted down words at random, on your mobile phone, and when you look at those notes back, then you can say, oh my gosh, this has turned out to be, I mean, this could be, might as well turn into a poetry.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is where, when you reflect, when you see that, like we see ourselves in the mirror, if physically, okay, I'm looking good, I'm not looking, okay, I need to shave, I need to shave my head, and so on and so forth. Am I looking good? In the similar way, I think writing is something, oh my gosh, are these my thoughts?
Yeah, right.
Right now, all three of us are talking, okay? It will remain for a day, for 2 days, for 3 days. But after 7 days, probably we'll only remember the essence. But then what Anupama has spoken that day, what Sai and what Anamika has spoken, yeah, she's recording, that's fine. But then if it's not recorded, then how do we even remember?
Right.
But when you write something, that stays with you for for eternity. That, okay, this is me. This is me as an individual, and nobody can snatch away. Nobody can snatch my
ideas,
my existence, or my ideas,
expression,
my thought, my expression, my principles. Nobody, because writing is a way of expressing your own self. That's about it. Yeah.
Right. Like Sai mentioned, so probably we have so many things, but we don't know our worth because we are just putting it here, not on paper. So it can't be repeated. It's just like a thought. It will vapor and it's gone. So we'll keep on thinking, okay, something was there, but we would not be able to recall because it was for that moment only.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What I also believe is something that makes writing easy, okay, is non-judgmental writing. So while you're writing, do not bother about your sentence structure. Do not bother about your spellings. Do not bother about your handwriting. Do not bother about how beautifully you have formed the entire expression. It's not about that. So writing to me is like literally pouring your thoughts on paper. And that's when it is most effective. If we focus too much on the spellings, the sentence structures, the commas and the full stops and the punctuations and all of this, then the essence of my thought is gone by then. What I really am thinking, it's gone, because I've started evaluating already. Oh my God, okay, I'm thinking this. How do I express it in the best manner on paper now?
Writing is a manifestation of your true self.
Yes.
It's a manifestation. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to really be conscious about how do I write, or whether it's, grammatically it's correct or not, whether this word makes any sense or not. It could be random words, but then, and it's like a Scrabble.
Yes.
Alphabets are there, and then they're all jumbled up. You just have to figure out, okay, what meaning would you like to extract from it? It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And especially like you said, Sai, that it's for yourself. It's very personal.
Yeah.
You don't have to share it with anybody. And something that's for me, I don't have to bother about how it looks like. Right. It's only me who's going to read it. I don't want to show it to anybody. It's only me who's going to look at it. So I can be myself completely. And once you remove that judgment piece from writing, evaluation piece from writing, I feel it becomes more easy to write.
I have an example of this also, Anamika. 4 months back when I was struggling for that job change and all. You asked me to write a blog about my learnings and all. And I know I had not posted it anywhere, but somehow I immediately tried to write something. And then I was completely out of that thought of guilt or anything. And I was completely, relaxed after that. So I agree to that once you write, then it helps.
Yes.
I didn't share it with anyone. There was no, I didn't follow any English, anything, but it was just scribble on the paper. I can't read it myself. In fact, if you will ask me to read it for you, I can't read it for myself. It was that bad handwriting. But yes, like at least I was able to come out of that guilt or whatever fear I had at that time after writing that.
Interestingly, writing and scribbling, this method of writing is what helped me find out when I was in depression.
No, I agree. It's a very important weapon. Like now, in fact, this year, one of my goal is like I generally scribble instead of writing anything properly. And because of that, I'm not able to read it again. So like I'm not able to read mine. So this time I had this goal that whatever I will write, it would be in a better handwriting so that at least I can refer it again.
Okay.
So every time everything can't be in my head. Sometimes it's very difficult for me also to reread whatever I had written. So that's why that is one goal. And second thing, I had started noting points. Initially, I was not writing in my meetings and all. So just to get that habit of writing, I had started writing also, just important points.
Taking notes.
Yeah.
You know what, Anupama and Anamika, today's, digital era, I was just, I was listening to you ladies. I mean, wonderful thoughts. Number one, Anupama, you can include that slide of resolution because, I've gone off the camera because I'm smoking right now. So anyway, so sorry about that.
Look at the irony.
Give me a minute because you might wonder that what happened. Anyway, so resolution in a corporate world, it's like if you have a 20-member team under you, and if each member takes a resolution, resolution leads to collaboration collectively. And then if those resolutions put together, the sum total of all the resolutions, if you come up with a larger theme, overarching theme, that okay, this is your team's resolution, and you are taking the lead, and if it's aligned with the organizational objectives, there could be nothing like it. Okay, because collaboration, I think out of resolution, if it's no, this is not from a personal space. I'm talking about the professional space. You can definitely include that slide, and there are multiple things that you can include in that.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful discussion throughout this 1.5 hour, I would say, Anupama and Sai. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you so much for wonderful points that you've all brought together. I would say this has been not just a session on the topic that we have discussed, but in the entire discussion, we have also explored multiple other topics, multiple other insights, and I'm sure each one of us are taking back something new with us to experiment with, to apply, and to share ahead. Right. So like I said, we have these sessions scheduled every Sunday. So please register for the next sessions. Topics yet to be decided. Please share it ahead, bring in more people. And any final thoughts before we close?
Thank you, Anamika, for setting this session. It gave us a lot of insight how to move ahead with our resolutions.
Thank you so much, Anupama.
So to me, yes, some thought-provoking insight, some thought-provoking point of views, which would serve as a platform for me to actually rethink and reconsider the word resolution from a different perspective. So I think that's my biggest takeaway.
Wonderful. And for me, it has been an amazing insight from all the beautiful small snippets of knowledge and experiences that you both have shared as well. And I truly believe sometimes people say that, oh, you had just 2-3 people joining your session. And I'm like, no, that doesn't matter. Number is irrelevant when the quality is intense. And I think we in this session really proved that today, that it doesn't matter if it is just 3 of us. We had a brilliant 1.5 hour discussion.
Yeah.
Same here. Same here.
Same here.
Numbers
Thank you
doesn't matter.
so much.
It's the quality. It's the value. It's the value that you bring onto the table, Anamika, that matters. Okay, so volume doesn't really matter.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Otherwise, तो मुझे तो मौका मिलता ही नहीं बात करने का कि डेजिल आ जाए तो फिर तो बात.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
both
you.
of you. I look forward to see you again in the next forum.
Same here.
Take care and keep spreading the word.
Absolutely.
We do need more people around. All right.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And lovely meeting you, Anupama, and all the very best for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so
You
much.
take care.
Good day. Have a lovely
Bye.
Sunday. Bye.
Bye-bye.